Hi, I'm Jim Pierce, Membership Director. Welcome to PSC Shooting Club. This video will walk you through all the important parts of the club, including a facility tour and all of the rules. PSC is more than a rifle range. We are a club. The Board of Directors encourages you to come out and get involved. We have numerous activities ongoing at the club, including matches and training. PSC wants to be a quality, not a quantity range, and this is why membership and waiting lists are closed from time to time. The board wants to make sure the existing facilities will comfortably handle the membership load. PSC is always under construction, trying to add more fun to our club. PSC came into existence back in 1966 in Pearland. Back then the club was known as Pearland Sportsman's Club. When the land was purchased in Friendswood a couple of years later, the name was changed to PSC Shooting Club Incorporated. The long-term plans are constantly evolving to ensure the best use of our limited area. PSC has been a 100% NRA club since the beginning. The NRA has recognized our club as NRA Club of the Year 2 times. As you will see by the banners around the club, the latest recognition was for 2012. The first thing on our agenda today is a tour of the club grounds. We start at the front gate. For years the gate was manually operated, but due to our membership expansion it was upgraded to an automatic gate using smart cards and keypads. We have two different ways for you to access the club. First, all full members are issued proximity or swipe cards. This is the white card with just a few numbers on it. You may use this to swipe the card reader, and this action will open the gate. The other option to gain access is to enter the gate passcode. At the keypad, simply press the key button 2 times and then enter the 4-digit code from the back of your annual badge. The key button has the imprint of a skeleton key on its face. Either way, this will open the gate and allow you entrance. As you enter, please pull forward off the concrete pad to allow the gate to close behind your vehicle. This will help make sure no unauthorized persons enter our club. Now that you're on club property, you must wear your badge on your person at all times. This means not on your range bag or in the car or on the shooting table, but on you. The club provides badge holders and clips, but you may use any other thing such as a lanyard or pin to keep your badge on you. I prefer to wear mine on the back of my cap. This way it's easy for the range officers to see and keeps it out of my way while shooting. You will be issued a new colored badge each year with your name, badge number, gate codes, and expiration date. The white proximity or swipe card will be good as long as you're a member in good standing with PSC. Oh yeah, the white card does not have to be on your person. This can be left in the car. You will not receive a new white card each year. Please take care of your badges as they provide access to our range. Should you lose your badges, we have a replacement form on the website that you must fill out and mail in with payment. When you see a member with a red badge, that just shows this is their first year of membership. Older members should step up and welcome the new members and answer any questions they may have. One other note, once you enter the club, smile, you're on camera. The board installed a camera system throughout the facility to limit unauthorized use and prevent damage to club property. As long as you're following the rules, there's nothing to worry about. Just have fun on the range. As you continue down the paved road, you will notice the speed limit signs. Please be aware there are several other roads that tie into the main road, and we don't want any accidents. Also, this is a wooded area, and a lot of wildlife crosses the pavement, some of it on 4 legs. One of the first signs you'll see on the road, we have lots of signs, will be a yellow diamond with the emblem of a golf cart. The cart is carrying one of those devious black rifles in the back. This is just to alert you that the range officers and maintenance crew are moving around on these type vehicles, so be on the lookout. There is a stop sign about halfway down the road located at the entrance to the shotgun range. This sign was placed because of the heavy traffic in and out of the shotgun range. Please obey the sign and watch out for members leaving the range. A little further down the road curves to the right at the maintenance barn. As you will notice, there is a mirror at the end of the road. A gate is located in the maintenance fence that allows the crews to move the equipment and materials out to the range. Make sure to yield to the equipment and go really slow around the curve to prevent a run-in with one of the tractors. You will most likely lose that fight. The first actual range we come to is Range 1. This is our position rifle range. Target frames are set at 50, 100, 200, and 300 yards. Being a position range means that you can shoot seated at the tables, standing, kneeling, or you may move forward on the grass knoll in front of the awning and shoot seated, kneeling, prone, or any other position you prefer. When someone is shooting from the grass, all other shooters must move forward to be on the same firing line. At no time will anyone shoot behind another shooter. You will notice a concrete wall extending out onto the range about halfway down the shooting line. This wall allows for shooters on the right of the wall to be on the grass and the shooters on the left to be on the tables, or vice versa. Separating the range with this wall essentially makes two range lines, therefore allowing different shooting lines on one range. While at PSC, please keep in mind that eye and ear protection must be worn by shooters and spectators alike. PSC is a cold range at all times. This means that when not firing, all firearms must be made safe by unloading them, and with rifles either placed in a rack with the action open or left on the bench with action open, magazine removed, bolt removed, or chamber flag used. Shotguns must be unloaded and placed in a rack with the action open. At each of our rifle ranges we have an orange or yellow vest. The first person on the range becomes the acting range officer. You must put on the vest to allow other members to see who will be calling the line safe and hot. By wearing this vest, the board is not asking you to become the range police. Just be the go-to person to make sure the range is cold prior to anyone going down range to set up targets. You will also be the person to check the range and make sure all members are back on the line and ready to call the range hot. When you leave, just pass the vest to one of the other shooters. This is done because we all know how people are in a group. No one wants to step up and take charge. This is one way to help us ensure that we're operating in the safest manner possible. As with any of the club's ranges, there's no cross shooting allowed. This means that if you're set up on the far left end of the line at the 50-yard range, you cannot shoot at the 100, 200, or 300-yard targets. If you want to shoot at other distances, then you need to relocate on the firing line. You must be perpendicular to the frame you are shooting. The 50-yard line is used to check out your firearm before you can move to one of the longer distances. Make sure you can get on target at the 50. You can shoot all your shots here also. You may not use any type of device that simulates automatic fire, such as the Hellfire or bump fire systems. Automatic firearms of any type are not allowed on any PSC ranges. We might have a few members that can control full auto, but the board has no intention of allowing a variance for their use. Being inside the city limits and using full auto would get the neighbors thinking we have a militia training camp going on here. The only NFA devices allowed at PSC are suppressors. While on the PSC ranges, keep in mind that no incendiary, tracer, or exploding ammo can be used. Yeah, it'd be fun, but just too much hassle for our range. If you're big enough to have one of those Smith & Wesson 460, 500, or similar caliber pistols, and can afford the ammo, then you must shoot these hand cannons on range 1 only. If you look out on the range, you will see gravel roads leading to the target areas. These roads may be used when the range is cold to drive your vehicle down to change targets. Please stay on the gravel road and do not drive on the grass. Anytime you see standing water on the range, consider it closed. The environmental people will get on us for shooting over standing water. We just don't need the trouble. A couple of things that are not allowed on the range include shotgun shot and 50 BMG cartridges. You may shoot shotgun slugs at the targets, and you may also use 50 caliber black powder firearms. The 50 BMG, although it's fun to shoot, just has too much energy for our berms. You may shoot any caliber firearm that produces 5,500 foot-pounds of muzzle energy or less on the range. This is basically a .338 Lapua or smaller. The formula for muzzle energy is shown on the screen if you need to check your load before coming to the club. While shooting at club target frames, only paper or cardboard targets are allowed. Targets should be stapled to the coroplast so the bullets will not impact the wood frames. Your targets also have to be placed on the frame so that all bullets hit in the back berm and not on the floor of the range. While we're talking about frames, keep in mind that you may not move the target frames from their position without written permission from the board of directors. At every club range, we ask you pick up your brass. We know many people save the brass for reloading, so you can leave reloadable brass on the range. If you shoot steel or aluminum case or rimfire, please take the time to clean up your mess. There are trash cans on every range. Any defective ammunition should be disposed of properly and not placed in the club trash. Take this ammo home with you for disposal. As we leave range 1, you will notice a covered area with tables behind the range. You may use this area for rest or socializing. Next to the awning is a blue concrete building, which is a unisex restroom. At no time can any firearms be in the restroom or the awning areas. The next building we come to is the infamous chicken house. This building is used to store steel targets for some of the rifle matches. The reason it's called the chicken house is because some of the targets are animal shaped, and we love to harass several of the shooters about shooting chickens. Moving on down the road, we come to the largest building on the property, the maintenance barn. We use this to store materials, lawn equipment, and tools. This is also the work area for the crew. Target frames are built and repaired here. Out in front of the building are a couple of toolboxes that house several important items. First of all, this serves as one of the sign-in areas. One of the club rules requires that all members and their guests sign in and out on each visit. You may use this area or the other sign-in area at the blue building. Just make sure to sign in and out on the same sheet. Next to the sign-in area on the left is an information board. Range notices are posted here, and also any for sale items members have. You may post your items for sale, but just remember to remove the notice when the items are sold. The top box has a red cross on it and contains the range first aid kit. The shooting hours are posted on the wall just above the sign-in sheet. Please note the shutdown time when signing in. The closing time fluctuates throughout the year, so make sure you know when to stop firing. The lower box is also the lost and found area. You may leave items here that you find on the range. If the item is expensive, you may leave it with one of the maintenance guys or the range officer, and they'll make sure to get it to the rightful owner. Please do not park in front of the doors to any of the maintenance buildings or under the awnings. The crew needs to be able to move in and out and can't take the time to locate someone to move a vehicle. We do have a tractor with forks on site and can move vehicles if necessary, but we don't want to go to that extreme. Right outside the maintenance building is a pole with several cameras and the red lights. The red lights help remind you shooting time is over, so if the red light is on, don't shoot. You may remain on the range to pick up brass, stow equipment, or socialize, just no shooting. Next up on the tour is the blue building. This is a place everyone's membership begins. We hold board of directors meetings, orientations, safety meetings, training, and other events in the building. The juniors program also stores a lot of their supplies here. We have men's and women's restrooms, vending machines, and a water fountain in this area. Located in front near the door is the sign-in desk. Also located in the drawer are spare clips and badge holders should yours become lost or damaged. Remember that you must sign in with your name and badge number, along with which range or ranges you will be using. If you have guests with you, we don't need the names, just the number of people accompanying you. And again, make sure to sign out when you leave. To the right of the sign-in desk is another information board, just like at the maintenance barn. Post your notices at either or both places. We need to back up on the road to continue our tour. We will be checking out the Range 2 cells. This area is a revamp of the old mom and pop range. There are 13 cells and the tin can alley located here. All the cells have concrete walls. Shooting of these walls will result in loss of membership. Please make sure, as with all the ranges at PSC, you take care of the facility and please police your brass and trash. When not firing, all firearms must be made safe by unloading. Handguns must be on a bench or table with the action open, or placed in a holster with the action closed, the hammer down, and no magazine in the gun. Horizontal shoulder holsters are prohibited during sanctioned matches and training classes. Firearms are to be made safe as directed by the match director or approved instructor. There are a number of parking stops along the cells. Please park in these areas and do not back or drive your vehicle into one of the cells. The club has tables and chairs at each cell. You may stand or sit to shoot, but no prone shooting in these cells. There are 9 cells facing into the south berm and 4 cells facing into the east berm. You may shoot any rimfire or centerfire pistol up to .44 Magnum. At no time can any centerfire rifle cartridge be used. This means that an AR pistol or a Thompson center pistol cannot be used in this area unless they are chambered for pistol cartridges. These rules also apply to the plate rack located in these cells. You must use the target frames provided to place your targets. Make sure to place targets in the center of the frames to help protect the wood from damage. Tin Can Alley is a great family cell. The only firearms that can be used in this bay are rimfire. You may use a rifle or pistol as long as they are rimfire only. The club has provided several steel targets to shoot, or if you wish, bring your own cans, boxes, or plastic bottles and place them on the wood beams and shoot away. Just like shooting off the fence or at the carnival like some of us old people did when we were kids. All we ask is that you pick up your trash after shooting. Glass of any kind is not allowed. Let me make this clear again. No centerfire ammo allowed on the Tin Can Alley. Only rimfire. Come on out and use the Tin Can Alley. Just bring lots of ammo. You will be amazed at how quickly a box of 550 22s goes away. Let's move on to the Range 2 bays. We have 7 large bays and a plate rack bay in this area. One of the first things you notice is the light pole at the road. There are a number of cameras and also some more red lights. Another set of red lights are located on the IDPA barn, which is the large tan building close to the plate rack bay. Remember, when the red light is on, shooting time is over. In this area, the club has a number of buildings. These are all used for storage and maintenance for the different pistol matches held on Range 2. All of the equipment and barrels are for match use only. Please do not move or use any of the equipment. For convenience, we have a couple of sets of porta-cans in the area. Yeah, I know, this is mainly for the guys, as you couldn't get most ladies in one of these, but at least we tried. They are kept clean. You may use any centerfire pistol ammo on these bays. No birdshot on any target frames, as this tears up the coroplast. This includes any shot shells that can be fired in a pistol or shotgun. The target frames on each bay are set and must not be moved without permission from the board of directors. The plate rack bay can only be shot with centerfire pistols up to .44 Magnum. On bay X, A, B, C, D, and E, all shots must be perpendicular to the back berm. All targets must be on target frames. You may draw from a holster and move as long as the muzzle is always directed at the back berm and all shots impact the berm. No shooting into the side berms. The only side shooting allowed is during club matches and under the match director's supervision. On bay C, we have a runner installed. This is a match only item. Do not post targets on the red wall. Use the target frames provided. Bay F is the home defense shotgun bay. You may shoot any shotgun on this bay at targets hung on the wire provided or shoot the plate racks. The only ammo not allowed in this bay is slugs. All slugs shot at PSC must be fired on Range 1 at targets mounted to the frames. You can shoot centerfire pistols here also, but if you have not shot steel with a shotgun, I highly recommend you try it. To say the least, it is a blast. Bay B is also a special bay. Members who have the Carbine Variance badge may shoot carbines in this bay. The variance was set up to support match shooters in SASS and 3-gun. No member without the variance badge on their person may shoot rifles on this bay. The requirements may change for this variance, and it's only for match shooters. If you need more information, please contact the pistol director. Just remember, no rifles allowed in the Range 2 bay areas without the variance card. There are awnings placed at several of the bays with tables and chairs. A lot of spectators use this area. Please remind all that eye and ear protection is required on the bays, and even the spectators under the awnings must wear the correct equipment. Something else you will notice on this range are the safe area tables. You may use these tables to work on your firearm or check function. One thing to remember is that at no time is ammo allowed on the tables. Keeping the firearms and ammo separated makes this a safe area. Next up on the Grand Tour is Range 3. This is a position range for rimfire only. No center fire of any kind is allowed. You may use your rifle or pistol. Air guns may also be used here. Target frames are provided at several distances up to 100 yards. Just like Range 1, place your targets on the frame and have fun. The yellow or orange safety vests are located on this range for the first acting range officer. Please use this to help keep everyone safe. When you're finished, please pick up your trash and fired cartridges. We want to keep the firing lines clean. As we move on down the road, the next stop will be Range 4. This is our bench rest range. You may shoot any rifle or pistol on this range as long as it is fired from a rest. No, a rest is not your arm or a fist. This has to be an object. You can buy an expensive rest or a cheap one to use, but the wood blocks on the tables work just fine. A lot of shooters make their own rest. Sandbags are also a great rest. The range has a 25-yard sight-in area on the far right side of the line. Use this to fire a few rounds to make sure your new scope is close to zero before you move out to the longer distances. The intent is to shoot only a few rounds here and move on. A large wood and steel eyebrow has been installed just outside the firing line. The eyebrow is to ensure everyone shoots from a bench rest position. Be careful going down range to change targets, as some of us may bump our head on the eyebrow. Do not fire at the eyebrow. An action like this will cost you your membership. Remember, you're on candid camera. Just like on all the other rifle ranges, the yellow or orange vest is used to designate a person to call the range safe and cold, or hot and ready to fire. One other precaution is no rapid fire is allowed on this range. Due to most bench rest shooters taking time and working on extreme accuracy, this leaves no need for rapid fire. If you feel the need to burn through a magazine of expensive ammo, go to range 1, get it out of your system before you set up on the bench rest range. Our next stop is the only range where no gunpowder is allowed or needed, the archery range. Archers are provided with a covered shooting area and an elevated stand to use in practice. The club owns several movable animal targets that can be set up on the range for use. After you're finished, you must return the movable targets back to the storage area. No firearms are allowed in the archery area. The club does not allow use of broadheads on any target. If you want to use broadheads, you must get a variance from the archery director and provide your own target. One difference for archery is that eye protection is not required as long as you are shooting or standing under the awning. If you're shooting outside the awning, including in the stand, you must wear eye protection. When you use the elevated stand for practice, only 2 persons can be on the stand at one time. This is not just because some of us weigh too much, but instead it's due to the size of the platform. A last note about the archery range, you may use crossbows in this area. While heading out for the remainder of our tour, you will notice a road that goes behind the archery range. This is to provide access to a private well behind the range. This road is strictly off limits to PSC members. A smaller road that looks to lead to the shotgun range is also off limits to all but maintenance vehicles. With that said, we need to turn around and go back on the paved road to access the shotgun range. Well, we've made the track along the road and now at range 6, the shotgun range, or as better known at least from some of the pistol shooters as the retirement range. This range has facilities for trap, skeet, 5-stand, country doubles, and a pattern board. The shot must be 7.5 or smaller with the exception of at the pattern board. You may use any type shot at the pattern board but no slugs. As I've mentioned several times during our tour, slugs are limited to range 1 only. There are several buildings on the range, including the main clubhouse, storage building, and a restroom building. You will notice a couple of truck trailers parked just off the road, and these are used to store clay targets. We have 2 trap and skeet fields beginning on the left side of the range, along with a 5-stand and country doubles range. These have high-tech throwing equipment and are operated by trained volunteers called key holders. The shotgun area is manned and open each Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Wednesday from 12 noon to 4 p.m. Anytime the shotgun range is not in operation by the key holders, you may come out with your own hand throwing equipment and practice. This includes battery-powered throwers. Just like on all the ranges, all shooting must be downrange. The main clubhouse is used by the key holders as a contact point for shooters and is also used for club meetings and training. Remember, this is a cold range and all shotguns must be made safe by unloading and placing in a rack with the action open. Well, we only have one more stop on our PSC tour, and that's the airgun range. To access the range, we need to go back out on the main paved road and head towards the main gate. Just past the shotgun area is a small road that is the entrance to the airgun range. Parking is allowed on the grass in front of the range. Do not try to drive through the shotgun range to get over. Airgun usage is growing at PSC, and we have a number of members that have volunteered working in the area and really made a nice range. You have benches to shoot from under the awning and several target frames at different distances to attach targets. This is a position range, and also eye and ear protection is required. There are club matches held on this range. Check the PSC calendar and come out and participate. This concludes the tour of your club. The best advice I can offer you is to come out and explore and get involved. If you need to know something, ask a member at the range or send an email to one of the directors. Remember, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. The board wants to make sure you have all the information you need to have fun and shoot safe. If you've never been involved in a competitive shooting event, come on out and at least watch. We would all love to have more participation in matches. You never know what you might find and like. Our main programs are also a great way to get to know people and become a part of the club. The ladies program meets the first Saturday morning each month. The juniors meets the second Saturday afternoon. Both of these are great programs and get a lot of people shooting that may have never had the opportunity before. Check the website and calendar often to keep up with the happenings at PSC. As the club has grown, especially in the last several years, we've upgraded to electronic communication. This is the most efficient means of communication and also the most cost-effective. As a result of our expansion, we now must ask all members to be responsible for keeping your personal data updated in the membership database. We just can't keep up with almost 3,500 people and all the constant changes to mailing and email addresses. This is an easy system to negotiate. All you need is your first and last name, date of birth, PSC badge number to log into the system. We have provided a number of help videos on the website to guide you in updating your data. This includes updating your NRA information. As we stated earlier, PSC is a 100% NRA club. We're very proud of this and want to make sure the club and all members support the NRA in their efforts to hold off the liberals. Hopefully at some point everyone will upgrade to NRA Life membership. This would really cut down on the workload during the renewal season. The PSC membership year runs from July 1 to June 30. The club opens online renewals on April 15 and continues through June 30. This allows for plenty of time to renew, but renewing early really helps us to get your new badge out to you prior to the end of the membership year. We really don't want to see you lose your range privileges because you procrastinated in getting your renewal completed. If your renewal is not complete by June 1, don't count on getting your badge before the new year starts. When renewals open, just log into your personal data page, check your information, upload any changes to your NRA membership, and then you will be directed to the secure online payment area. This system has worked very well for the club. Just to refresh your memory, there's a short video on the website to guide you through the membership process. The board opens and closes membership according to the use and availability of the range. We will keep everyone informed on the website as to the status of new members. Of course, we will always have room for legacy members. Legacy members being close family of existing members. If you have a spouse, grown children, or grandkids that want membership, just send an email to me and I will get them worked into the orientation meeting. The Board of Directors strives to keep the cost of membership as low as possible, but sometimes due to cost of materials and operating the range, the dues may be adjusted. If this happens, we will give you plenty of notice through the website and email alerts. Remember, volunteers built this club, and the more volunteer work we get done, the greater the chance of keeping dues low. Make sure and check the website frequently for updates to range information. You can also sign up for the email alerts. This is a different mailing list than the membership database. You don't even have to be a member to get our email alerts. Just always make sure you're signed up in both places and you will receive all the notices and information from the club. Please note, we do not give out or sell members' information. This all stays within the club. The Board of Directors consists of 11 members. We have a President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, Executive Director, Chief Instructor, Membership Director. Each shooting discipline also has a director including pistol, shotgun, rifle, and archery. You may contact any or all directors through the email addresses provided on the website or contact the secretary to get an item added to the monthly agenda. The board meets on the first Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. in the Blue Building. Come on out to a meeting and maybe we'll get you volunteered for a project. Anyone wanting to get on the standing volunteer list may send an email to membership@psc-range.com and you will be added to the list the maintenance crew has and they will contact you for help. We talked earlier about members being limited to bringing out only 2 guests. We realize that sometimes you may need to bring a couple more, especially around the holidays. If this comes up, contact me at membership@psc-range.com and let me know about your situation. I will send you an email to allow you to bring extra guests if necessary. Just don't try to get me to let you bring 5 or 6, and this needs to be a one-time deal. PSC has an approved instructor list. The club makes sure that we have enough instructors on the list to cover all the needs of the membership. Members may not hold classes and charge members or guests for training. We don't want to get someone a cheap membership to our first-class club so they can come out and make a lot of money teaching their own classes. This doesn't mean you can't teach your friends and family firearm usage. We just don't want a commercial training program going on at PSC. This would not be fair to all the paying members of the club. We hope that you never have an emergency while at the range, but if something does happen, the best approach is to call 911 and get the situation handled. Once everything is taken care of, then contact one of the directors. We've gone over most of the rules, but just to make sure we didn't miss something, our chief instructor, Charles Cotton, will give you a quick review.
Hello, I'm Charles Cotton, Chief Instructor for the PSC Shooting Club, and we're going to spend a few minutes reviewing the club's safety and administrative rules. Member compliance with these rules is important for the safe and efficient operation of your club. members must also ensure that their family members and guests also abide by all club rules. So let's get started. Before we get into the specific rules, we need to define a few terms that you're going to see. A primary member is the person who joined PSC Shooting Club paying the full dues. An associate member is the spouse of a primary member who completes the orientation process and pays a nominal associate fee. It's not necessary for spouses to become associate members, but if they want to come to the range by themselves or with their family members, then they're going to want to become an associate member. Family members are the spouse and children of a primary member who are under 21 years of age and living in the primary member's home, except that the age for children is raised to 23 if they are a full-time college student. Now, if a spouse is an associate member, then they are not considered a family member for purposes of this definition. A cold range is a range in which all firearms must be unloaded unless they are on a hot firing line and only when the shooter is cleared to fire. PSC is a cold range, meaning all firearms must be unloaded until the shooter is on a hot firing line and has been cleared to shoot. A safe range means a rifle range, shotgun range, or a pistol cell or bay that has not been cleared for live fire. A hot range is a range, pistol cell, or pistol bay that has been cleared for live fire. An unloaded firearm is a handgun, rifle, or shotgun with no ammunition anywhere in the gun. It is not sufficient that you have the chamber cleared, but have a live magazine or clip in the gun. An approved instructor is one who has been vetted by the PSC Board of Directors and whose name is listed on the PSC approved instructor list. A range officer, or RO for short, is a member who has been approved by the PSC board or its designee to serve as a club range officer. An on-duty RO is a range officer working under the direction of a PSC board member who is responsible for the club RO program. In other words, they are on the RO schedule for that particular day or shift. An ARO, or acting range officer, is a member who is serving as a temporary range officer for a pistol bay or cell, or on ranges 1, 3, or 4. Let's talk a little bit more about cold ranges. As mentioned earlier, PSC is a cold range, meaning no one can be on the club property with a loaded firearm unless they are at a hot firing line and have been cleared to shoot. There are exceptions. The first exception applies to peace officers who are in uniform, or if they are not in uniform, they are displaying their agency badge. Another exception are concealed handgun licensees who want to carry their loaded self-defense handguns. If they do so, those firearms must remain concealed. Now, if either a peace officer or concealed handgun licensee want to shoot their carry guns, then they must follow all the cold range rules from that point on. Talk a little bit more about handguns. How are they unloaded? In addition to not having ammunition in the gun, you must follow the following steps. Handguns must be on a bench or on a table with the action open, or placed in a holster with the action closed, the hammer down, and no magazine in the gun. Doesn't matter that the magazine is empty. If you're going to make a handgun safe by unloading it and putting it in your holster, then it must not have a magazine in it and the hammer must be down. Now please note, horizontal holsters are prohibited for use with loaded handguns on PSC property. Safety Rule 2, dealing with rifles and shotguns. An unloaded rifle must either be placed in a rifle rack with the action open, or it must be left on the bench with the action open, magazine removed, and if it's a bolt action rifle, the bolt must be removed, and there must be a chamber flag in the rifle. Shotguns simply must be placed in a rack with the actions open. Now, during sanctioned matches and training classes, firearms are to be made safe as directed by the match director or the approved instructor. So if you see some apparent violations of these rules that we've just gone over, but it's during a match or a training class, There's not really a rule violation because match directors and approved instructors are authorized to establish specific standards for making firearms safe during their events. Eye and ear protection is covered in Rule 3. Eye and ear protection must be worn by all shooters and all spectators at all times, with one exception, and that is on the archery range. When people are on the archery range under the covered firing line, then they don't have to wear eye protection. But when they step off that firing line to retrieve arrows or do something else, then they must wear eye protection. This also applies if they're on the archery tower. Let's talk a little bit about targets. Safety Rule 4. Only paper or cardboard targets may be used. There are no exceptions for the general use. Targets must be properly stapled to club-provided backstops, and you need to do that in a way that the bullets are not likely to hit and damage the target frames, and also you need to do so in a manner that will make sure the bullets impact the back berms and not the side berms or the floor or ground of the range or bay. Target frames are not to be moved without written permission from the board. Rule 5 deals with the direction of fire, and at first that may sound kind of silly, but I think you'll understand what we're getting at here. All rounds must impact the back berms, or some people call it the end berm. It's the berms into which we want the rounds to go. Now the rounds must be fired at 90 degrees to the back berms. In other words, there is no cross-range shooting. You cannot shoot into the side berms except during board-approved matches and events, and this is only because the match directors know where it is safe to shoot into the side berms. The plate racks are covered in Safety Rule 6. All shooting must be done from the established shooting line, not in front of it or behind that line. All shooting must be done perpendicular to the rack. Again, not at an angle, much like the other ranges, so shoot the targets in front of you. Don't stand to the left side of a plate rack bay and shoot all the way across to the targets on the other side of the bay. You must shoot from a standing position only. Shotguns can be used on the plate racks on bay F only. Do not use shotguns on the main plate rack bay or in the plate rack cell next to the tin can alley. Shotguns can only be used on the plate rack in bay F. When you leave, please repaint the plates. It's a courtesy to your next member. Now, we used to try to keep white paint there, but frankly, it seemed to walk off with great regularity. So if you're going to shoot the plates, have a can of white spray paint with you. There are a number of rules that apply generally to all ranges, and they all come under Safety Rule 7. So we're going to go over those at this point. Sighting in firearms. All firearms that are not sighted in must initially be shot and sighted in at either a 25 or 50-yard target before being shot at longer ranges. If you have bore-sighted the rifle, then you can go ahead and shoot at 50 yards. If not, you need to shoot at the 25-yard berm. There are some firearms and targets that are prohibited anywhere on PSC property. First of all, there are no fully automatic firearms permitted, period. It's not just a matter of it's okay if you shoot it in the semi-automatic mode. They are not to be on PSC property anywhere. Now, before anyone starts thinking the club or the board is anti-machine gun, that's not the case at all. The concern is that some people who don't know how to control a weapon being fired in the fully automatic mode is more likely to have a round fired over the berm. Not only do we prohibit fully automatic firearms, we also prohibit any simulated automatic fire, whether it comes from devices like a Hellfire or bump fire stock devices. There are new trigger mechanisms now that in essence are a bump fire type trigger. All of that's prohibited. It's real easy to determine if your particular gun or device is prohibited. If it sounds like automatic fire, it's prohibited. We also do not allow any 50 BMG or other 50 caliber or larger firearms to be shot on any of our ranges. Again, no prejudice against 50 BMG or big guns. They're a lot of fun, but they're too damaging to our berms, so we're not going to allow their use. You cannot use any incendiary, tracer, or exploding ammunition, nor can you use any targets that are going to explode. It's a lot of fun to shoot tannerite targets, but it's going to drive the neighbors crazy, and we're going to hear complaints that we have a terrorist training camp next door if we allow those targets. So again, the only targets that are permissible are cardboard and paper targets. Let's talk a little bit about muzzle energy. We already mentioned that you can't shoot 50 BMG in larger firearms. Well, there's other limitations as well. If you're going to shoot an S&W 460 or 500 or perhaps a Ruger 480, all of those must be shot on rifle range number 1. We don't want any firearm with a muzzle energy greater than 5,500 foot-pounds to be fired on any of our ranges. Alcohol, don't bring it. Guns and alcohol don't mix, and we don't want it anywhere on the property. All of our rules are important, but we've had a couple of folks that are now former members because they thought we were joking about not having alcohol on the property. We're quite serious, folks. Ranges in standing water. You remember when you were a kid how you could take a rock and skip it off water? Well, it works with bullets too. Any range with standing water is closed until the water drains off. Please clean up your shooting area when you leave. Pull down the used target, empty ammo boxes, any other clutter that you have. Please pick it up and place it in the trash can. But do not put live ammo in the trash cans. Take that home with you and dispose of it properly. Aluminum and steel cartridge cases are also to be picked up and placed in the trash cans, along with 22 Rimefire brass. Those cases are not reloadable, and people have a tendency to just leave them laying on the ground. Please pick them up and throw them away. Now, do not throw away reloadable brass cases. They'll be collected by some PSC members who reload so they won't go to waste. It's not necessary to pick them up and lay them on the table. You can leave them on the ground if you like. The only thing we're asking is that if you shoot aluminum or steel case ammunition or 22 long rifle cases, you pick that stuff up and throw it away because they're not reloadable and no one's going to come up and clean up after you. Vandalism is far less frequent at the range since we put in our extensive camera system. However, everyone needs to understand that deliberate destruction of club property, equipment, or any of our facilities will result in loss of membership and criminal prosecution. Range officers. When no on-duty RO is present, that is, no one is working a scheduled shift, then the first member to shoot on that range will be the ARO or acting range officer. Now, what you have to do depends upon where you're shooting. If you're shooting on ranges 1, 3, or 4, that is the rifle ranges, then the ARO, the first person on the line, must wear the yellow and orange vest, indicating that they are the ARO. Now, if you're shooting in a pistol bay or cell, then you don't have to wear any kind of vest because you're in control of this much smaller area. Now, if you are the ARO, no matter where it is, be it on a rifle range wearing a vest or in one of the pistol bays or cells, when you leave, if other people are still shooting on the line or in that cell, then someone has to take over the ARO position. All members should make it their job while they're on club property to protect the club by following all the rules and reporting any people who do not. Administrative rules. We have a series of rules here that really do not have a direct safety impact, but they're still necessary. They're necessary to help protect the club property and to help us efficiently run the club, and they will be enforced just as we enforce safety rules. First of all, access to the club. Don't give the gate code to anyone. That's real easy to violate when you've got a friend or family member coming to the range to meet you and you're already back on one of the ranges. It's real easy to give them the gate number when they call your cell phone because you don't want to drive to the gate. Well, just understand, if you do that and we find out about it, it's going to cost you your membership or at least a temporary suspension of that. So please don't give out that information and don't give your smart card to someone else. When you're on club property, a primary member or associate member badge must be worn at all times. Now, there's an exception to this. The associate member doesn't have to wear their associate member badge if they're with the primary member. Why? Because they're going to be assumed to be family members. Guest privileges. The primary and associate member can bring any family members to the club. Primary members can also bring guests, but no more than 2. Please note, associate members, while they can bring family members, cannot bring guests. Family members must be in the presence of the primary member or the associate member, whichever one brought them, and they must be under their direct supervision. And the same thing applies to guests, except obviously they must be in the presence of the primary member, because only primary members can bring guests to the ranges. Shooting hours. All shooting begins at 8 a.m., but it ends at various times throughout the year, depending upon the time of sunset, whether or not daylight savings time is in effect, and so on. When the red lights come on, the shooting hours are over. While the red lights are helpful, it's kind of like a safety on a gun. You should use it, but don't rely on it. The official time controls, and the reason this is mentioned is that when a time change occurs on a Saturday or Sunday, the lights are not reprogrammed until the following Monday. So they may come on early, or they may come on later than the official stop time. So be sure and go by the official published stop times. Here are a couple examples of how you can find out this information. The photograph on the left shows the shooting hours right above the speed limit sign, and the shooting hours listed on the right is actually taken from the club website. So there's no reason not to know when you have to stop shooting. That information is readily available. Okay, we're going to talk about some rules that apply for specific ranges. Like on the shotgun range, no shot larger than 7.5 can ever be used except when you're on the patterning board. You can use larger shot just to check your pattern, but you cannot use slugs anywhere on the shotgun ranges, including the patterning board. If you want to shoot slugs, you have to go to range 1, that is rifle range 1. There's one other exception, but it's not on the shotgun range. You can use shot larger than 7.5 if you're shooting on bay F, but you cannot use slugs. Again, slugs must be shot on range 1. Let's talk a little bit about the pistol ranges, that is the bays and the cells. Only pistol caliber handguns can be shot up to and including 44 mag. Anything larger than 44 mag must be shot on range 1, as we've already mentioned. No shot shells can be fired anywhere on a pistol range other than bay F. Shot shells will destroy the coroplast target backstop in just a very few rounds. No rifles of any caliber can be fired on any pistol range unless the shooter has and is displaying a Carbine Variance badge, and then that applies only to what is currently denominated as Bay B, Bravo, and pursuant to the variance rules. Please note that I said currently designated as Bay B because there are plans to re-letter all of the pistol bays at some future date. Regardless of what its title or name may be in the future, it's easy to determine the carbine bay because there's a carbine warning sign on that particular bay. We need to talk a little bit more about what constitutes a pistol for our purposes. Pistol versions of rifles, such as AR platform pistols, are not considered pistols for purposes of where they can be shot on our range. Also, rifles that fire traditional pistol calibers, such as 357 mag or 44 mag, even 22 rimfire, are still rifles and they cannot be shot in pistol bays. Range 3 is our rimfire only range. Only 22 rimfire, 22 magnum, 22 long rifle, long or short may be fired. You can also shoot 17 Remington and air guns on range 3. But there's absolutely no centerfire calibers allowed on range 3. And this is in bold because we've actually had people shoot 223 ARs and then try to claim it is a 22 caliber bullet, therefore it's legal on range 3. Well, it may be 22 caliber, but it certainly wasn't 22 rimfire. Range 4 is our bench rest rifle range. This is a precision rifle range, and all shooting must be done from a bench rest position with the rifle fully supported. And when we say supported, we mean supported by a rifle rest of some sort. Now, it doesn't have to be expensive commercial gear, though some people use that. It can be a sandbag, or it can be commercial. It can be a homemade support. Anything like that is acceptable. What is not acceptable is your hand, or your arm, or your buddy's arm. It must be a separate rifle rest, except that bipods are acceptable. Whatever you're using, the barrel cannot be higher than 12 inches off the bench. And as I mentioned earlier on, this is a precision rifle range, and absolutely no rapid fire is permitted on range 4. We do not want to hear a round going off more frequently than one every 6 seconds. We also have a minimum proficiency requirement for this range. If you are not capable of shooting a 3-shot 4-inch group at 100 yards, then you need to go to range 1 and practice at closer ranges more before you go to range 4. The archery range is becoming more and more popular at PSC, and there are not a lot of rules that apply, but there are some. First of all, you cannot use broadheads on any club targets. If you want to practice with broadheads, then bring your own targets, but just don't shoot any club targets with broadheads. You are also welcome to use animal targets, but when you're finished, you need to move them back to the storage area. If somebody left them out in the field when you got there, feel free to shoot them, but please move them back to the storage area. And if you want to practice on the tower at the archery range, you may want to have a coach with you, and that's fine, but we do not want more than 2 people on the shooting stand at one time. Earlier I mentioned carbine variances. Let's talk a little bit about what's required to obtain that. Maybe we should start by saying you don't need one to shoot rifles on range 1, 3, or 4. Now remember, range 3 is 22 rimfire only. We have had some folks think that they had to have a variance to shoot a rifle anywhere on the property. That's not the case. Variances are required to shoot a rifle, certain rifles, on pistol bay B. Now our eligibility requirements are strictly enforced and they cannot be waived for anyone. We don't care what your occupation is or what your experience level is. You must meet the eligibility requirements. This applies only to shooting specific rifles and only on pistol bay B, Bravo. We have had people shoot on other bays holding a carbine variance thinking that they can shoot anywhere. Okay, let's talk about the eligibility. The primary reason that the carbine variance was established was to allow competitive shooters who shoot 3-gun or perhaps SAS matches a place to practice. PSC hosts 3-gun matches, and prior to the issuance of PSC hosts 3-gun matches, and prior to the issuance of the carbine variance, our own competitors didn't have a place to practice. In order to be eligible, you must be a primary or associate member of PSC in good standing. You must be a current member of the IDPA, USPSA, or SAS. And if you don't know what those are, then you probably don't meet the eligibility requirements. You must also submit proof via an electronic form on the PSC website on an annual basis showing that you have shot at least 3 IDPA or USPSA matches at PSC in the preceding calendar year, or you've shot 3 SAS matches someplace else because PSC does not host SAS matches. Any combination of IDPA, USPSA, or SAS matches will be acceptable. But again, this must be tendered on the PSC electronic form and it must be sent in annually. If you do not send it in by the time the renewal process is closed, you will not receive a new carbine variance for that year. There are certain caliber restrictions that apply to carbine variance holders. You can only shoot .223 or 5.56 and the specific variants of 6.5, 6.8, 300 Blackout, 300 Beowulf, or 300 Whisper. You can also shoot straight wall pistol caliber, and you can shoot 30 M1 carbine. No other calibers are permitted. What kind of targets can be used on Bay B by a person holding a carbine variance? Well, no difference. All the regular club rules regarding targets apply to carbine variance holders as well. The firing line when shooting carbines on Bay B is pretty much what it is with any pistol shooters. But there is something you need to be careful of. Rifle shooters tend to want to shoot a little bit further back, and you have to be careful of the berm between Bay 2A and 2B. That berm is shorter than the berm between 2B and 2C. You must shoot forward of the shortest berm, that is the one between 2A and 2B. You cannot have more than one person firing at a time unless all shooters are stationary. We do not want 2 people shooting on the move. The shooter who is closest to the target berm becomes the firing line. That means no one can handle, much less shoot, any firearms if they are behind the shooter closest to that target berm. It makes sense. We don't want anyone handling firearms if someone is forward of that muzzle. We've gone through our rules, and all of them are forced. The board does enforce both the safety and administrative rules because they're necessary to protect the club and its members. If you're unsure about a rule, don't guess. Don't rely upon another member. Check the website for the applicable rule. All of these rules are posted there. And please understand that I didn't know or I misunderstood is not a defense. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope you have a great time at PSC Shooting Club.